Somewhere in the world right now, it's illegal to own a single lonely guinea pig. In another place, you have the legal right to attach a flamethrower to your car. The global rulebook isn't just strange, it's a chaotic masterpiece of absurdity, history, and baffling logic. We've collected 48 of the most outrageous examples from this global playbook of insanity, and each one is guaranteed to make you question the very definition of common sense. 1. In Singapore, they've essentially declared a cold war on pigeons, and you're not allowed to aid the enemy. Feeding them isn't a charming park activity, it's treated like a biohazard violation. The government sees a handful of breadcrumbs as the first step toward urban decay, leading to overpopulation and disease. For this act of kindness, you can be slapped with a fine that will make you rethink your relationship with all urban wildlife. It's order taken to a microscopic avian level. 2. In Paraguay, the medieval tradition of dueling is technically still legal, but it comes with a magnificently modern and morbid twist. Before you can settle a dispute with pistols at dawn, both parties are required to be registered blood donors. The government's unspoken logic is brutally pragmatic. If you're going to participate in an activity that might create a sudden, violent need for blood, you'd better have already contributed to the national supply. It's civic duty meets potential homicide. 3. Tossing a coin into Rome's Trevi Fountain is a tourist ritual. Trying to take one out is a major crime with a moral twist. See, the city collects the thousands of dollars in coins thrown in every single day, and the entire sum is donated to a charity that feeds the city's poor. So, if you're ever tempted to fish out a few euros, you're not just a common thief. You're a villain stealing directly from a food bank, all while being judged by a giant statue of the god of the sea. 4. In Germany, sunlight isn't a perk. It's a legally mandated right for office workers. The very idea of the American cubicle farm, a bleak, windowless labyrinth of despair, is outlawed by their workplace safety regulations. Every office must have a view of the outside. The government has legally codified that the human soul requires daylight to function, a right most American workers haven't even conceived of demanding. 5. The entire nation of Monaco is a glittering VIP room for gambling, but its own citizens can't get past the velvet rope. By law, the people who actually live in Monaco are banned from entering or betting in its world-famous casinos. This rule was a masterstroke by a 19th-century prince to shield his subjects from ruin while fleecing the rest of the world. It's a national business model built on the most elegant hypocrisy imaginable. 6. In Finland, the penalty for speeding isn't just a fine. It's a full-blown financial audit conducted on the side of the road. Fines are calculated as day fines, a percentage of your daily disposable income. This means a minor traffic violation can cost a wealthy individual a fortune. One CEO was hit with a $60,000 ticket for going 14 miles per hour over. It's a system designed for perfect equity that could feel like a spectacular punishment for being successful. 7. Your home is your castle, but in Singapore, that castle has a stage, and you're always on it. It's illegal to be naked in your own house if you can be seen from the outside. The crime isn't the nudity, it's the potential for a neighbor to witness it. This bizarrely turns your window blinds into a crucial legal shield, making interior decorating choices a matter of criminal liability. Your freedom ends where your neighbor's line of sight begins. 8. For 90 years, Ireland had its own miniature 24-hour prohibition every single year. On Good Friday, every pub in the nation was legally forced to shut down. This turned the day before, Thirsty Thursday, into a national spectacle of panic-buying alcohol, as if preparing for a national disaster. When the law was finally abolished in 2015, it wasn't just about getting a pint, it was a cultural earthquake, signaling the end of an old, devoutly religious Ireland. 9. Imagine the government deciding to tax sunlight itself. That's essentially what happened in 17th century England with the infamous window tax. It was a clever, if deeply flawed, form of property tax. Instead of assessing a home's value, tax collectors simply counted its windows from the street. In response, citizens began bricking up their windows to avoid payment, plunging entire buildings into permanent, gloomy darkness. The policy was a public health disaster, a state-sponsored war on ventilation that literally made people sick just to collect revenue. 10. In Denmark, naming your own child requires government approval, like you're trying to build a deck without a permit. There's an official list of about 7,000 pre-approved names. Want something unique? You have to submit a formal application, which is often denied if the name is deemed too weird. It's a state-run nanny system designed to protect kids from bullying, an idea so foreign to American individualism, it could probably cause a nationwide identity crisis. 11. On the beaches of Eraclea, Italy, your child's architectural dreams are a criminal enterprise. It is illegal to build sandcastles. The official reason? These temporary monuments of joy might obstruct passage for people walking along the shore. This isn't about protecting wildlife or preventing erosion. It's about maintaining a perfectly clear walkway at all costs. It's a level of bureaucratic micromanagement so intense, it has officially declared war on one of childhood's most simple, universal pleasures. 12. Imagine your television is basically contraband. In the United Kingdom, the simple act of watching any live TV broadcast requires a government-issued TV license. This isn't a subscription you choose, it's a tax you owe. An entire enforcement agency, armed with what are described as Black Mirror-style detector vans, is tasked with hunting down and finding television-watching fugitives. It's a system that turns flipping through channels into a high-stakes game of cat and mouse with the state. 13. For generations, getting a divorce in the Philippines was legally impossible. Alongside the Vatican, it was one of the only sovereign states on Earth with no legal path to end a marriage. Due to deep-rooted religious doctrine, marriage was treated as an unbreakable sacrament by the state itself. For countless people, this meant a bad marriage wasn't just a mistake. It was a legally binding life sentence with no possibility of parole. It's a staggering collision of church and state with profound human consequences. 14. France doesn't just make cheese, it protects it with the full force of the law. Under their AOC system, a cheese like Roquefort is only legally Roquefort if it's made from the milk of a specific sheep and aged in specific caves. This isn't a guideline, it's a legally enforced identity. This system has created a kind of cheese police to protect the honor of their national products. Try telling a French official that your Kraft single is real cheese and see how that goes. 15. In Brazil, they found a brutally effective way to deal with corrupt politicians. It's called the Clean Slate Law, and it bans anyone convicted of a serious crime from running for office for 8 years. This wasn't a law passed by politicians to regulate themselves. It was forced into existence by a massive public petition signed by millions of citizens. It's a mandatory cooling-off period for criminals, a level of direct accountability that would make many American voters weep with envy. 16. In New Zealand, the simple, whimsical act of flying a kite can get you tangled in bureaucratic red tape. In many public parks, you need to get official permission from the local council if your kite soars too high. The rule is meant to prevent interference with drones or other park activities, but the result is absurd. It turns a spontaneous afternoon of fun into a pre-planned, government-sanctioned aerial event. It's kite flying by committee. 17. Imagine a law that seems to have time traveled directly from the 1800s. In La Paz, Bolivia, married women are legally allowed to drink only 1 glass of wine in a public restaurant or bar. The reason? A stunningly archaic belief that more alcohol might make them morally questionable. Meanwhile, her husband is free to order as many drinks as he wants. It's a jaw-droppingly sexist rule that has somehow survived, enshrined in law, into the 21st century. 18. In China, the government is so concerned with controlling the past that it has effectively banned time travel in movies. State regulators have outlawed or severely restricted films and shows that feature time travel, arguing they treat serious history in a frivolous way. This means no Terminator for Shanghai, no Back to the Future for Beijing. It's a level of creative control so absolute, it wages war on a fictional concept just to protect the official historical narrative. 19. We all do it. You see an open Wi-Fi network, you connect. It's second nature. In Singapore, that simple act could make you a criminal. Connecting to someone else's unsecured Wi-Fi without their explicit permission is legally defined as hacking under their Computer Misuse Act. That free internet you use to check directions could theoretically land you with a massive fine or even jail time, turning a modern convenience into a high-stakes digital gamble. 20. In Japan, the phrase, "my job is killing me," can be a legally recognized cause of death. The phenomenon of dying from overwork is so prevalent it has its own word, karoshi. If a court rules an employee's death was caused by an excessive workload, their family can sue the company for millions. This has led to laws forcing companies to track overtime and ensure employees take vacations. It's a chilling legal acknowledgement that your office can be a literal crime scene. 21. While American kids navigate a 24/7 commercial assault for toys and sugar, children in Norway grow up in a protected media biosphere. It is completely illegal to aim any advertising at anyone under 18. The state decided that a child's mind is not a fair battleground for corporate marketers. This creates a childhood unplugged from the machine of manufactured desire, a concept that would probably short-circuit a huge portion of the US economy. 22. In Germany, you can get a DUI on a vehicle that doesn't even have a motor. If you're caught riding a bicycle while intoxicated, the authorities have the power to revoke your car's driver's license. They can deem you unfit to operate any vehicle, period. It's a stunningly logical leap that would be unthinkable in the US. A system that says your poor judgment on a 10-speed bicycle is proof you can't be trusted behind the wheel of a 2-ton SUV. 23. The French winemaking town of Châteauneuf-du-Pape has a UFO problem, specifically a strict anti-UFO ordinance. A 1954 decree, still on the books, completely bans the landing of any flying saucers or flying cigars within the town's jurisdiction. The law was actually a genius marketing ploy that made their wine world famous. It also means that any alien connoisseurs planning a trip to Earth's finest vineyards must check local zoning laws first, or risk having their spaceship towed. 24. In the Italian fashion capital of Milan, your facial expression is subject to government regulation. An old and bizarre law, which has never been officially repealed, requires people to smile at all times in public. The only legally excused places for a frown are at a funeral or inside a hospital. While you won't get a ticket for having a bad day, the mere existence of a law that attempts to mandate happiness is a work of absurdist bureaucratic art. 25. Canada's criminal code features a law that creates a spectacular legal trap for prosecutors. It's illegal to pretend to practice witchcraft for the purpose of defrauding someone. The law doesn't target actual magic, only fake magic. This means to get a conviction, a Crown prosecutor would essentially have to stand in court and prove, beyond a reasonable doubt, that the defendant is a fraud because their spells and potions don't actually work. It's a law that inadvertently offers legal protection to real wizards. 26. In one major country, the law has been weaponized to make an entire community invisible. A notorious 2013 law bans the distribution of propaganda of non-traditional sexual relationships to minors. The language is so deliberately vague, it has been used as a legal sledgehammer to shut down pride parades, arrest activists, and effectively erase any positive public mention of LGBTQ+ rights. It's a chilling demonstration of how a legal code can be used to enforce a state-mandated silence. 27. If you start your car to warm it up on a frosty morning in Denmark and then walk back inside, you've just committed a crime. It is illegal to leave a car idling unattended, even in your own driveway on your own property. The law is designed to cut down on pollution, but for anyone from a colder climate, it feels like an attack on a sacred winter ritual. It's a form of eco-conscious micromanagement that prioritizes air quality over a warm driver's seat. 28. In Sweden, the debate over spanking ended in 1979. That's when it became the first country on Earth to completely outlaw all forms of corporal punishment against children. This isn't a guideline against abuse. It's an absolute ban on any intentional physical discipline, including a light smack. For many Americans, where this issue is still a cultural battleground, this law represents a profound legal statement. A child's right to bodily integrity overrides a parent's right to discipline. 29. For many Americans, Sunday is the symphony of the suburbs. Lawnmowers, leaf blowers, and power drills. In Germany, that symphony is illegal. The country legally enforces Ruhezeit, or quiet time, on Sundays and public holidays. Making any loud noise, from mowing the lawn to hammering a nail, is forbidden and can get you a visit from the police. It's a legally mandated day of peace that your neighbors have every right to enforce, a concept that would cause the average Home Depot shopper to short-circuit. 30. For years, South Korea had a government-enforced bedtime for its young gamers. The infamous shutdown law automatically kicked anyone under 16 off most online games between midnight and 6 a.m. This wasn't a suggestion from parents. It was a state-level kill switch designed to fight gaming addiction and force kids to sleep. It turned multinational gaming companies into unwilling digital nannies and the government into the ultimate parental authority, invading every teenager's bedroom through their internet connection. 31. Imagine a major European capital city where the sound of a barking dog was completely alien. For decades, that was Reykjavik, Iceland. Until 1984, it was completely illegal to own a dog within the city limits. This wasn't about noise or mess. It was a drastic public health measure to prevent the spread of parasites from dogs to humans. It's a wild piece of history, a time when one of humanity's most beloved companions was officially declared a citywide public enemy. 32. In many historic Italian towns, your laundry is considered a key part of the public aesthetic, and it is heavily regulated. It's illegal to hang your clothes out to dry on any balcony or window that faces a main street. The goal is to preserve the picturesque charm of the town, free from the sight of your fluttering underwear. It's a hilarious collision of domestic chores and civic pride, where the simple act of air drying your socks can be seen as an act of architectural vandalism. 33. In South Africa, you have the legal right to turn your car into a Mad Max-style war machine. To combat a rampant carjacking problem, a company developed an aftermarket flamethrower system that mounts under the doors, and the government deemed it legal. Officially classified as a security device, not a weapon, it allows you to engulf an attacker in a jet of fire. It is, without question, the most gloriously dystopian solution to personal safety ever approved by a modern government. 34. You're in Thailand, it's 100 degrees, and you've just rented a scooter. Your first most logical instinct is to take off your shirt. And in that moment, you become a criminal. It is illegal to operate any vehicle shirtless in Thailand, from a car to a moped. This isn't a safety law, it's a public decency law. It's a perfect, sweaty trap for tourists, a reminder that your idea of casual comfort can be a direct violation of local culture. 35. The British government has a contingency plan for your inconvenient death. It is illegal to die inside the Houses of Parliament. This isn't based on some ancient curse. It's based on pure, cold, bureaucratic logic. Anyone who dies in the Palace of Westminster is technically entitled to a full state funeral, a massively expensive and complex affair. To avoid this, they simply outlaw dying. It's a brilliant cost-saving measure whose only flaw is the spectacular impossibility of its enforcement. 36. We all know the Hollywood scene, the dramatic run down the aisle, the last-second "I object" that stops a wedding. If you try that heroic gesture in Australia, it will be met not with tears but with handcuffs. It is a specific, punishable crime to intentionally disrupt a wedding or funeral service. Your grand cinematic moment of romantic desperation would end not with a kiss, but with a court date and a hefty fine. The law has no time for your third-act plot twist. 37. For most Americans, home Wi-Fi is a utility as basic as running water. Now, imagine that utility was treated like a controlled substance. For years in Cuba, private in-home internet connections were illegal for most citizens. Access to the web was restricted to a handful of absurdly expensive, state-controlled hotspots in public parks. It was a form of information quarantine, shrinking the World Wide Web down to the size of a government-approved bench. 38. For a shockingly long time in modern Ireland, if you were an unmarried couple living together, you were committing a crime. Cohabitation was illegal, a direct reflection of the country's deeply conservative religious roots. While rarely enforced in its final years, the law stood as a powerful symbol. Your living arrangement wasn't just a personal choice, it was a matter of state and religious concern. You had to hide your relationship not from your parents, but from the government. 39. In America, getting a driver's license is a sacred rite of passage. Now, imagine that key to freedom was denied to half the population. Until June of 2018, let that sink in, 2018, Saudi Arabia was the only country left on Earth where women were legally banned from driving. The repeal of this law was a global event, but its very existence into the 21st century is a sobering reminder that a freedom you consider fundamental can be an unimaginable luxury somewhere else. 40. The Netherlands has perfected the art of the legal contradiction. In an Amsterdam coffee shop, you can legally buy and smoke cannabis, but if you dare to light a normal tobacco cigarette inside, you're breaking the law. A strict nationwide smoking ban means you can't even mix tobacco into your joint. It's a bureaucratic brain teaser where a globally illicit drug is fine, but a perfectly legal product will get you kicked out. 41. On a summer road trip through Spain, your choice of footwear can make you a criminal. The traffic police can fine you for driving in flip-flops, sandals without a heel strap, or even shirtless. The logic is that your casual attire might impede your ability to safely control the car. It turns the breezy freedom of a vacation drive into a high-stakes fashion inspection on the side of the highway, where your comfortable shoes are Exhibit A in a case against you. 42. In the US, signing your kid up for sports involves a waiver. In France, it involves a trip to the doctor's office. For many sports and clubs, it's a legal requirement to get a formal medical certificate declaring your child fit to participate. This isn't just for elite athletes. It can apply to a basic after-school activity. It's a layer of state-mandated bureaucracy that treats a game of soccer with the same formal gravity as applying for a pilot's license. 43. The Philippines has a law against unjust vexation, which is a beautifully vague way of saying it's illegal to deliberately and profoundly annoy someone. This catch-all charge is the legal system's weapon of last resort, used when a person's behavior is infuriating but doesn't fit any other specific crime. It means that, in theory, being a world-class jerk is a prosecutable offense, a dream come true for anyone who's ever said, there ought to be a law against that guy. 44. In Belgium, if you fall behind on your taxes, the government might just redecorate your living room. Bailiffs have the legal authority to seize and auction off non-essential furniture to cover your debt. They can't take your bed, but that designer sofa and flat-screen TV are fair game. It's an incredibly direct form of asset seizure, turning your personal belongings into collateral for the state. Imagine coming home to find your home theater system has been repossessed by the taxman. 45. In the United Arab Emirates, your private text messages can be a crime scene. It is a criminal offense under their cybercrime laws to swear at someone on WhatsApp. A single profane message sent in anger can lead to massive fines, deportation, or even jail time. For the average American whose digital vocabulary is often a rich tapestry of profanity, this is a terrifying concept. It turns your phone into a pocket-sized legal minefield where a typo could cost you your freedom. 46. When visiting Greece's ancient wonders, you must adhere to a strict, historically minded dress code. High heels are completely banned at sites like the Acropolis. The sharp points of stiletto heels can chip and damage the fragile millennia-old marble. It's a perfect clash between modern vanity and ancient preservation. A reminder that your Instagram photo shoot must not come at the expense of world history. It's a no shirt, no shoes, no service rule for archaeology. 47. For over 2 decades, the city of Christchurch, New Zealand, had a line item in its budget that most cities don't: an official, salaried wizard. After a public outcry to protect a local eccentric, the Prime Minister himself suggested the city appoint him. His official duties included providing acts of wizardry and other wizard-like services. He was a state-sanctioned sorcerer, a living piece of municipal magic. Imagine trying to get that past a U.S. City Council meeting. 48. In Western Australia, you can be a potato smuggler. It is illegal to possess more than 50 kilograms, about 110 pounds, of potatoes without being a licensed member of the potato industry. This law is a relic of the time when a powerful government body called the Potato Marketing Corporation controlled the entire spud trade with an iron fist. It created a black market for potatoes, complete with inspectors and raids. It's a hilarious reminder that any product, no matter how humble, can become contraband if a bureaucracy tries hard enough. So the line between law and lunacy is thinner than we thought. Which leads to a serious question: which of these is the dumbest? Choose a side and defend your position in the comments. If you enjoy having your worldview challenged, join the conversation. Subscribe and hit that like button.